Good morning. I have the very difficult task of squeezing into 1 minute an introduction of Herman Cain, and that's going to be very difficult. Herman is an author. He's written 4 books, a radio talk show host. He's also exemplifies the American dream of entrepreneurship. He took 400 Burger King operations when he worked for Pillsbury that were some of the worst in the nation performance, raised them to some of the best, became the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, ended up management buyout of that company. Herman is truly a Renaissance man. He's many different careers. But I remember one thing. The first time I became aware of Herman was in 1994, when there was a presidential town hall meeting about President Clinton's health care proposed bill. At that conference, Herman challenged the president on the bill when he said, with all due respect, he said, "Mr. President, your calculations are incorrect." You may remember Herman doing that. And I remember saying, that's the man I want to get to know, and I'm glad to call him my friend and have gotten to know him. So let me now, I think I've used up my 1 minute, let me introduce a truly great American, Herman Cain.
Hey, rock the boat, don't sink, float. Rock, hey, rock the boat, don't sink, float. Rock, hey, rock the boat, don't sink, float. Rock, hey, rock the boat.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank those of you that stayed out late and drank a lot and still got up to come to this presentation this morning. Because now you can tell those that slept in what they missed. Our founding fathers said it better than any group of men in history when they said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." It didn't say a guarantee. And there's nowhere in the Constitution where it says that the federal government should establish a Department of Happy. It said the pursuit of happiness. But you and I know that the pursuit of happiness in this nation, as defined and conceived by our founding fathers, is violently under attack. It is under attack from liberal proposals with this administration and with this Congress that are designed to strip us of many of our liberties, that are designed to restrict our ability to pursue our definition of the American dream based upon each individual's aspirations, each individual's motivation, and each individual's determination, not the dictate of the federal government. And so as we wrestle with beating back cap and trade and tax and kill, as we wrestle with beating back Employee No Choice Act, as we wrestle with beating back health care reform legislation. You see, if something is supposed to reform something, it is supposed to make it better. Well, there's absolutely nothing in that proposed legislation, either version, that makes anything better. It just makes everything worse. So you can't call it health care reform. Health care deform legislation. All of these attacks on the pursuit of happiness. But there is good news. There is good news. The voice of the people is being heard. That's why they've been put on the back burner. The voice of the people is being heard. That's why they are being put on the back burner. That is good news. But we're not done yet. We've got some more work to do. We won't be finished until they're moved from the back burner to out the back door. And we have an opportunity to do that in November of 2010. Move them out the back door. Now here's how we do it. It's really very simple. You see, the founding fathers, they did their job. The founding fathers did their jobs. I did my radio show remotely last night from here, from D.C., and I had a caller, and I was talking about the Mount Vernon statement that was signed 2 days ago by nearly 100 leaders of conservative organizations from D.C. and all over the country. And I was praising the wisdom and the foresight of the founding fathers. And a guy actually called and said, how can you admire and praise the founding fathers when many of them had slaves? I said, you don't understand. The wisdom and the foresight of the founding fathers was to set the bar high and not low. It didn't say, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal except slaves. It didn't say that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights except for slaves. It didn't say that. They set the bar high and challenged this nation to work up to those ideals, which we have done. You don't set the bar low because you will work down to it. The founding fathers set it high, and as a nation, we have worked up to those ideals. We are the only nation in the world that's been able to change the way we have changed in the last 200 and some odd years. The only nation in the world. That's the greatness of America, our ability to change. And so I said, I'm just glad that they set the bar where they set it, because over time we have worked up to that. So the founding fathers did their job. They didn't develop a limited declaration. They didn't develop a limited constitution. No, they developed those founding principles that we should never ever get away from, which is why I was proud to be one of the signers of the Mount Vernon statement 2 days ago, because we needed a reaffirmation, a reconfirmation. And as one of my other callers pointed out last night, he said, Mr. Cain, we need a revival. And that's exactly what this is all about. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. This revival is happening. It's happening across this country. So the founding fathers did their job. You know, one thing that I love about talk radio is that I learn so much from my callers. I really do. I do listen. I get accused of, you know, only taking calls where people want to disagree with me, but that's just not the case. If you can make a logical argument for your point of view, I will listen and I will share it with people. But if your argument is illogical and no facts, I will cut you off. I don't like to waste people's time. Don't like to waste people's time. So another caller called one day and said, Mr. Cain, I love your show. I love what you stand for. But she said, I have a question for you. I said, what's that? Where are the defending fathers? The founding fathers did their job. And she made me stop and think. We must be the defending fathers of this nation. We are the defending fathers